Hi, everybody, and welcome to our second installment of our October episodes of Esports and Coffee. Hello. Um, as always, I'm AJ, kicking off our show, and over this way, I have Danielle, and we've got Jackie, and we have Sari. It's a full house today. And today, we're going to be talking about a topic. Doesn't matter if you're in collegiate, doesn't matter if you're in high school, doesn't matter where you might be. I think it's a topic that hopefully anybody in the chat will find useful. I think it's a topic that may be often neglected, but I think it's a topic that we view as something that is really what we want to see more of now that we're moving forward, now that programs are a couple of years. Most programs have a couple of years under their belts, but we want to go a step further. We want to kind of get past funding 101 and kind of go to that next step in terms of fundraising, sponsorships, kind of how to go to that next step for your program. So I'll kind of kick it to Danielle for our next segment.
Who's that?
Who is she?
Who's that girl? Okay, so look, that one didn't last long. Anyway, reminder that if you're not in the Discord, you need to be. I'll find you. Like taken. Just kidding. No, you should be. The link should show up any second in Discord. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. And meet, gather, foster communities, celebrate each other. We love to do that. I have been sharing playlists. I can't believe nobody has noticed this, but my new exciting thing for shit, it's not really that exciting. I find it exciting, and that's all that's important. But for every month we are in, I find a song that's that month. So last month I did September. Nobody noticed. This time I did October. Next month is November. So yeah, just I'm gonna do
November
here.
Is it gonna be November Rain?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I feel like the easy choice would be Guns N' Roses, but no, just you stew on it. It just so you know, it gets collectively harder through the year. Not because of you guessing, just because we run out of songs. Like those must be shitty months that people are like, I'm not making a song out of February.
Like there's no songs about January. Absolutely, there is a song about February. Outcast, Happy Valentine, or it might have been that where they had the two separate Andre 3000 and Big Boy had their two separate albums. There's a song about Valentine's Day that I think is on the Big Boy side that he says February the 14th. So you could use that for February. But there's nothing about January, I feel like.
I want to, this year I'm going to focus on it saying the name in the title.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. So, get help through struggles. Obviously, enjoy our banter. And most importantly, right, have fun. That's esports is not always a lot of fun, but we're here for it. And have you seen our new website? Like chat, have you? We're waiting. No.
Why can't we have something go right for one stream?
No, I'm asking chat. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, like our
things aren't.
Our commands aren't. I added a new one today.
Oh,
we tried to add new commands, and now the old ones aren't working.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone. This is par for the course.
Sorry, this is why we're the best channel to watch because we always have bloopers and we always have something go wrong.
Look, I'm almost through my run a show part. Let me finish. You should check the website and buy some new merch and wear some new merch. And who's wearing the new merch? There you go. There you go. There you go. Are you watching? Are you watching and wearing your merch? If you bring it,
let's be twins.
If we bring it to an event, we'll start giving out autographs. The price is a high five.
Oh my god.
And so now I am done with my speech. Now it's your turn, Sarah.
Oh, it's fine. Okay.
Oh my god.
Thank you. This is a very smooth run of show, guys. My section, I'm going to discuss why we're here today. So for those that weren't here with us since the beginning or need a refresher, Esports and Coffee has been around for an incredible 12 months. And we started Esports and Coffee originally because we found that there was so much lacking in information and support in the esports space holistically, no matter kind of where you sit within the space. There was a lot of hot takes, a lot of tweets, a lot of twit longers. Now those are X's or X longers. I don't really know. We all got tired of esports 101 crap. We all got tired of sitting on panels that was all about being a woman. Oh, you're a woman in esports? You could be on this panel about being a woman in esports. And it's like, I could also be on a panel about esports. But cool. So we saw a lot of one-on-one, a lot of DEI buzzwords. Like everybody was saying DEI, everybody was saying inclusion and inclusivity, but they weren't really doing anything, and there just wasn't any action, or we didn't feel like there was enough action. So we really wanted to get in there and kind of start dissecting the things that didn't get enough attention or didn't get action or were just kind of glossed over or used, as a buzzword or as a nice way to just sort of present your brand. And we wanted to put action to those words. So today we're focusing on an area that you always hear is important, but you never really hear the how on getting it done. And it's all aspects of funding, whether it's grants, partnerships, and sponsorships, third-party funding, anything that we have. Obviously, we're in a pretty interesting, what do they call it, esports winter time where, a lot of non-endemic organizations kind of entered the space on inflated numbers, and then we're shocked that those numbers didn't come true, and then are kind of ducking out, and we're all just sort of bouncing all around. But we want to, instead of talking about why getting your program funded is important, our friend Jackie here has inspired us that we're going to talk about how you can get your program funded, how you can negotiate good partnerships and sponsorships, how to have those conversations, and the importance of those conversations, but also action items and direction as to getting it done, because we're here to do better, right? And so that's what we want to do. We're all about doing things, not just saying things. The things we're all about doing, though, do not include getting our commands right, making sure that the stream starts on time and we're unmuted, or anything of the sort. But as far as actionable things, we are here for that. We're here for the action. So, Jackie, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So this topic, it kind of frustrated me. Because over the summer and especially the last 2 months, I was really excited to attend some webinars and some listening to some panels and some group discussions about funding, because we are all trying to fund our programs. That's what we need to keep running. We all have to make new opportunities, I feel like, and we're kind of making that ourselves. And when you think about the word director and head coach, I think that's a term that's going to be defined in the next couple of years, really defined, because the things that I'm going to talk about, you can't really do as much if you're doing all the day-to-day coaching, all the day-to-day broadcasting. Like, you really need someone to help you with. So who do you go to? The one of the things is you can, grants, reaching out to your community, and reaching out to those big box sponsors. But how do you actually do that? So when I was listening to these webinars, they're like, yes, you can fundraise, you can create a website for your gear. Okay, but who do you talk to? Like, how do I know that this person, what percentage are they going to give me? What percentage do I get back? Where's the website cost? Do you actually think about that? Can my school actually have this website on our platform? These are all things that everyone needs to consider. And one of the things that I really focused on this last year was grants and grant writing, and how to look for them, how to write them, and how to approach your school. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk today, because I can say, just go fund your program by writing a grant. Cool. How?
How do you do that?
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about Minnesota specifically, because that's where I am. There's a lot of different ways that I went about looking for grants, and I'm pretty sure this crosses over to other states too. But the first thing I did when I was at MSU is I reached out to my grant department. And I didn't know who that was. And even a basic search through our website, it was really clunky. So I went to my boss and asked for advice on how to reach out to them. And I set up a meeting. And you think that when you set up a meeting with a grant department, they're going to have all these grants for you to fill out, or they're going to write the grants for you. They're going to have all these deals. It's complete opposite. At least it was for my case. I had to explain what we needed it for. And it's usually you have to have a project or a reason to write the grant. You can't just get funding for computer gear in most cases unless it's from a private donor. So private donors are different. There are different types of grants. And that's something I could talk about later too. But they're not going to write the grants for you either. And they don't have time to search for the thousands of grants, hundreds of thousands of them going through. So I was given 3 different websites. I was given the National Grant Foundation, Grant Forward, and then I was given a list for 2022 and 2023 Minnesota grants that I had to specifically go through and look to see if we qualify for any of them. And that takes time. Like I'm talking at least a month time to just dive into all of just specifically the Minnesota ones of what we qualify for. So, ladies, do you know if your university is a nonprofit or a for-profit?
Mine is nonprofit.
Mine's for profit.
So there's a difference between that too when you're looking for grants. And this might be a boring strain, I'm sorry.
I
but
like it. We're here to
depend-
learn.
yes.
I
Depending
feel like
on
I'm learning so much already.
like depending on the type of grant that's offered, you might not even qualify for it if your university is for profit. And then you have to show nonprofit. So you have to have those connections within the departments to give you all of the information. So if I can share my screen, where did my grant go?
Our grant department, I haven't worked with her because I know who it is. We're small, so I pretty much end up knowing the people of affluence, we'll say. She keeps sending me people that are asking me how to write grants within the Metro Detroit area, and I just keep circling back to those people saying, I don't have experience in doing this, but my understanding of grants is in order to qualify, you're going to have to circle it back into some academic lesson, whether it be like production or coding or such, that would help get your PCs funded. So I am familiar with that, but I have no need to have a grant written yet because there is no like we don't have double the space. So if I buy PCs and get a grant written, sometimes those have a certain amount of timeline that you have to utilize the money, right? So technology is ever exponentially changing every 18 months. So there's no need to buy PCs. But one day I'm going to write a grant and I'll holler at you. Jackie, your turn. Go back.
I like grant writing and I really like RFPs also. Okay, so this is a grant. I'm just going to share it with you guys. I mean, I don't think there's anything no, there's not anything proprietary in here because it's all public information. Grants should take anywhere from 4 to 5 days to write. That's it. If you have to spend more time on that, you should consider having a co-writer with you or a co-company. So right now I'm working on a grant with another org that we're going to start writing together. And it's for a significant amount. So it's not something that's just under 100,000. So this grant that here, let me go live. This grant that I wrote was to pay for other opportunities. So you're going to start with an executive summary of why you want to do this. And then you want to go into and make sure that you're checking off what the grant specifically wants. So this grant literally had check marks that I could go into and be like, well, here's the project that I need. Okay, here's everything that I'm going to write. There's also a limit to the number of pages. So you want to make sure you're listening to that. You want...
I have a question.
Yeah, what?
Did you utilize the beautiful tool of AI to help you write this?
I did not. I wrote all this before ChatGPT came out.
And now you're like, yeah. I'm never going back.
Right? Work smarter, not harder. I would definitely utilize ChatGPT. And since I can't use words very well sometimes, I would use Goblin Tools, and that formalizer, man, I use it for everything lately. So this grant took me 2 days to write, and I had 5 days to write it. And a lot of the information that I got from here was from statistics within our university, just from our website. I also had to reach out to my grant department to make sure that it was okay that I was writing this grant and that they approved it. They had to actually approve me to write this. And then they also helped me with like fine tuning of things. But the majority of it's just plug and play. Write your story for it and then write your projections, what your outcomes want to come. No, I lied. At the end, I'm pretty sure I used ChatGPT at the very end for my strategies. Yeah. But so this grant was for just roughly $100,000. And I'm not going to go to the MSU stuff. But funding at the end, if it's going to be a multi-year funding, that's something you want to look for. But as far as like next level, this is something I think that a lot of people don't realize. It takes time, but it also doesn't. 4 to 5 days to write a grant isn't that much, but it took me half a year to find this specific grant that we specifically qualified for. It was for a nonprofit, and it had to be specifically for BIPOC and marginalized communities to get paid to work. So that's why I wrote it, and I was actually really excited about it. Another thing that should be considered. So I'm now at a K through 12 institution, and I can't just go and find a grant and write it. I'm still working with my departments. But if I got a grant and I wanted to buy, let's say, 10 PCs, I can't just go to Bytespeed and be like, here, I want to buy 10 PCs. I actually have to send out an RFP. And I didn't know that until recently. So when you're writing your grants, make sure you understand the processes afterwards as well. Because if you just go and, like, if I were to go to Josh, be like, hey, I'm going to buy these 10 PCs, and then we use that money, your school or your IT come back and be like, oh, you can't do that. You have to do it our certain way or use our current vendor. So it's really important to make those connections.
What happens if you use a grant in the wrong way, or would you just not be able to? Like, it would stop you before you even could use it?
So there was a gentleman in the CTE department who got a grant for $40,000 and didn't go through the right way, and he wasn't able to use the money. And that's 40 grand. That career technology engineering.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Experience. CT. It's for students who are looking for careers in technology and engineering. I'm pretty sure. It's the Minnesota thing. I don't know. It's how I can write one of my grants is by working with the CT department to dual utilize whatever I need.
I need that accent to be thicker when you say Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Not yet, sorry.
We've got Buchanan in the chat. Thanks, super helpful. Are you able to share the document in the Discord?
I can share it, and I might cross out some stuff. But I can definitely share it. I also had a grant writing incentive. So when I wrote to my university of why I wanted to write this, I applied and I put down how much time it was going to take me and why I wanted to apply for this grant. So when you're thinking about the next level, when someone says just apply for a grant, there are steps to go about it and ways to look. You could definitely just Google grants in my state.
I was going to ask that. Like, how do you find grants?
Yeah, you listed off a couple of websites. I know that I think at least one of them was Minnesota specific, but are there like general websites that you would recommend?
Yeah, so Go Forward is a grant. They have hundreds of thousands of grants for across the US in there. And I got my login through my university. I don't know if you were to go on there yourself and get a login or if you have to pay for it separately. But that's again why you should talk to your grant department because they just gave me a login. And so that's another thing, having to scour through that. Putting in keywords like STEM or I tried gaming and esports every once in a while, and it pops up with some stuff. But it's not. But you can also star like favorite grants on there, so you can come back to them because they're rotating. The other ones are, so that's another thing. Grants. Let me see if I can find the right website to talk about.
That's why networking is important, kids that are listening. You reach out to the people on your campus and they will be able to point you in the direction. We have grant writing people, as I mentioned, and women specifically. But I also have a friend who works is the director of the STEM Center. Hey, and he has written grants several times before. So if I ever need a grant guidance, that's he'd be my second go-to person. So obviously you can't use them, but make sure that you're finding those people and working with them in collaboration, and working one of the this is not necessarily a grant or sponsorship or partnership thing. um, if you don't know this by now and working in collegiate, then maybe I'm sorry you didn't, but it's all a political game, right? So you have to like scratch their back and they'll scratch you. So making sure you're playing nice in the sandbox because they'll help you out. But
I feel like that's a good life lesson. That applies everywhere.
yeah, yeah, it
What?
is. But maybe people don't know that inherently.
True. Jackie, have you ever won a grant?
Yeah, I won a grant to write a grant.
Is it called winning? Do you win the
Yeah.
grant?
Do you win it? Do we celebrate?
Yeah.
Is
The real
is it called winning the
Confetti.
grant?
Yeah, like the real question is, can we have cake if like you get the grant, and can it be ice cream cake? That's really, I just want to know those two things.
Yeah, I
really
think we
like
could
ice cream
celebrate
cake.
with an ice cream cake and
Okay.
from a grant. Yeah. We could celebrate now.
So what was it like when how did you find out when you were awarded your grant? How did you find out that you got it?
Email. That's how they respond to you.
Oh my God, you guys, Scott Dorn is in here, and he just wrote #winning with a birthday cake. And really, I feel like that's everything to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is the perfect
Okay.
opportunity. No, because Danielle, you just brought up such a big point about networking. And do you want to talk about how, because you had a cool sponsorship that you said your student, what they applied for, they won a
Yeah.
scholarship, or how did you make your connection with your sponsorship?
So, our sponsor was Rig Gaming, and they do headsets, and then they are based out of Australia, I believe. And so they also bought Nacon. So they reached out to me and asked if we could have some sort of partnership. And in conversation with that, I'll go into the details of the partnership in a second, but this part, I was like, how, yes, we all think Lawrence Tech is great, but how the hell did you find us, right? Like, why Lawrence Tech? You have bigger schools. What happened? Basically, our student um, applied for their scholarship fun thing every year, and it's actually, I think it shows up on our Twitter feed in between all the hot takes and tea. So I my student found it. He did a whole little video. It's on YouTube. And I think I just played it on repeat, so I'd give it a bunch of views. But they said, well, he didn't win the scholarship. They had another person, but um, just based on the student's experience and what he saw within the video, he wanted to partner with our team because he felt like we were moving in a good direction. So um, that's how that came into fruition. So it's not even like I sought them out. I just kept pushing my students to do stuff. I don't know, and they just found us. So
And then you got
That's
cool
cool.
headsets.
yeah, so the partnership, we're running off the run of show. We're running out of it's not my section, but I'll talk about this. So
Oh, that's okay. I'm kind of
no, go ahead.
no, you go.
No. Okay.
No.
So the partnership was for 6 months. They gave us headsets. I don't have it. A handheld thing that your phone goes in to do a controller. Also, SIM for STEM. A handheld thing that goes in a controller, right? Or makes your phone a controller. And 10 of their Nacon controllers, which are like a less expensive version of the Elite controllers. I They have back paddles, but you can put weights in them. And then they wanted us to kind of review them. But what our partnership was is basically I had to provide 3 photos, one of which went on the internet, 2 of which went into a drive that they have access to, and then 5 minutes of raw video footage so that they could essentially use our stuff on social media, that while the students were wearing the rig headsets or talking about things. We every once in a while pulled in some Twitter videos just because short form content seems to be doing better than like other stuff. And for our team, actually, we get more traffic on Instagram than I do on Twitter, which is funny to me. So that's why we would put reels and things together, because I am trying to cater to where our biggest audience is. But we didn't extend the contract because they wanted more content, and it's just me, and me organizing the people to take the photos and time, and they wanted to expand it for a year. And I'm going to steal your line, Sarah. uh she mentions the one thing about a partnership is it has to be mutually beneficial. And I actually found out about the extended contract in person with Sari. And I don't even know if she remembers me being frustrated or worried about it. But I decided ultimately that I couldn't fulfill it. Like, there's no way that I could fulfill it. And for the amount of stuff that there was, it just didn't work. And then once I came back and they tried to fulfill it and make it better, they extended and wanted more content. And just was impossible. So at some point, it kind of wore out its welcome. But
I think.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
The funny part about the items is, like, say the students. I don't love the idea of making them wear things that they don't want to wear. And they kind of had to anytime they were in person or competing. That was part of the contract. And so a lot of them, our way around it is if they brought their own peripherals, then they could wear their stuff. Um, because Rig was like, well, we're not going to force them out of their comfort zone. So it was forcing them to utilize the things that they didn't necessarily want to use, which got them quite frustrated every now and then. But like, it's great stuff. It works. It stands up the test of time. They actually market that it's unbreakable. So we did a bop it thing and tried to break it. It doesn't break. So.
I love it. I think it's a good tee up to the conversation about sponsorships versus partnerships. Are they the same? Are they not the same? How do you know which direction you're kind of going in and which one leads to another? And clearly I know nothing about grants. Everything I know about grants I learned from Jackie Lamb, and I will continue to learn from Jackie Lamb. But sponsorships and partnerships we've done quite a few of. And quite frankly, I get frustrated when I see organizations or teams or whoever announce partnerships that are very clearly not a partnership. Like, it's like Danielle had said, partnerships have to be mutually beneficial. You're joining together because you each can get something from the other that supports what you need, and the support from both of your avenues or audiences equally benefits the other person. If you are paying into a partnership, the other person should be paying into a partnership, whether that's in goods, services, financials, whatever. If you are receiving from a partnership, then the other person should be receiving from the partnership goods, services, financials, whichever. So if you are pursuing an organization that you want to partner with, and all that it is saying, hi, I'm Stanley, and I'm selling these cups. They cost $40 a piece. If we create a partnership, you can have as many as you want. For how much? $40. Well, then that's not a part. There's nothing there. There's no partnership. I just get to put the Stanley logo next to my team's logo and say, look, we're partners. And I understand why a lot of folks do that, but you're only hurting yourself in doing that. That's not a partnership. And so then other organizations that enter into partnerships see that, know it's not a partnership, and continue to do the same thing. So, for example, say you're looking into a partnership with a PC provider. And however the terms of that partnership are going to work out. If you are entering into the conversation of saying, I'm looking for a partnership with a PC provider, you don't just go to one PC provider and form a partnership. You tell as many PC providers that you have that you are looking for a partnership with a PC provider. Can we do a call? And you have to figure out what the best deal is for both of you, what the best situation, what's going to provide you the best for both. The antithesis of that, the other side of that, a sponsorship has a direct tiered system. So I give you this and you give me that. So you can either set those tiers beforehand, i.e., we're Esports and Coffee. We'd love for you to sponsor us. We have sponsorship levels at the $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 range. Here is what you get for each of those levels of sponsorships. For this much, you will receive this. For this much, you receive this. And for this much, you receive this. You break it all down, and you have to articulate how many of those you'll have. So, for example, we're accepting 10 platinum sponsorships at $5,000 a piece and 30 gold sponsorships at $1,000 a piece. That's a lot of sponsorships, so those are unrealistic numbers, and I don't know why they came out of my mouth. But you'll preset that to serve as income for your organization, for your event, for your activation, for whatever it is that you're doing. So you're going to say, okay, we are putting together the Esports and Coffee Awards, and we know, based on all of the work that we've done ahead of it, that it is going to cost us $25,000 to hold these awards. Of that $25,000, how much of this is how much of the $25,000 is like hard costs? Like, for example, is 5,000 of that 25,000 because we need 5 gaming desks to be utilized for the show on stage? Cool. Could that be done through a partnership with, I don't know, Spectrum Industries? And we work together with them and say, hi, can we use 5 gaming desks for the Esports and Coffee Awards? And happily say, thank you so much to Spectrum Industries, our amazing sponsor. And the host will mention it 4 times, and the acceptance will be not mentioned 3 times, or whatever we want to say. It'll live on our website, however that goes. So your sponsorship will supplement your income in either way. Either they're providing you something that you would have had to pay for, or they're providing you money that you can spend. That's what a sponsorship is. It is a transactional approach. A partnership is typically you're building something together, you're benefiting from each other, you're going through an avenue together. I'm going to kind of...
Esports Award powered by Scott Dorn. That's
correct, powered by Scott Dorn. Or, I mean, if he wants to give more money, it could be the Scott Dorn Awards powered by Esports and Coffee. I'm totally fine with that too. You know, naming rights has to go in whatever direction. So whatever we need to do. The Dorn Awards. The Dorn Awards.
The Dorn Awards. It's the Dorn Awards.
I think we've named it.
Can you patent that?
I actually can. Let me get right on that.
Sorry.
I think it's perfect. Oh, Scott's is already trademarked. So you know what? Might be too late.
You learned from the best. I learned from you.
I'm gonna break down 2 of our partnerships that we have had that I would consider successful, because I could also break down 700 that I would consider not successful. And then I will also articulate sponsorship that I would consider successful. Um, the partnership that we have that I consider successful is our MSI partnership. The Dorndies. Oh my God, sorry, I had to pause. I just saw Chris Bilski say that in chat. And that is the best take on the Dundies, and I love it. The Dorndies, it is, so it is written.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We can do it in the
So,
summertime, kids.
so our MSI partnership, and I'm going to be incredibly transparent here, and because I don't want this to sound like it's super easy or anybody can just do it. For those that are not super familiar with Full Sail, which is where I work, Full Sail has, as part of their program and their curriculum, every student gets a laptop that is loaded with the software specific for their program. All of our programs are really production focused and gear focused. So, for example, the music production students get a MacBook Pro loaded with a ton of audio software and plugins that help you record music and things that you need. It is, I'm not going to pretend it's free. It is included in the very high cost of tuition, but it's really awesome. So most of our students do get a MacBook Pro, because a lot of it is in art and design and production and lighting and things like that. However, all of our gaming programs and some of our simulation programs are PC based. So we have a start every month. A new class starts every month. So it is essentially guaranteed monthly business for the PC provider that says, like, we have 8 new cybersecurity students this month. We have 10 new game development students this month. We have 14 new information technology students this month. They will get an order from us every month, no matter what. That was our kind of bargaining chip. How we leveraged our partnership is essentially by saying, hi, MSI, we've looked at your products and we would be happy to replace our current PC provider to our students with you in exchange for some opportunities or deals that we can make for our esports teams. So they also cut us a deal on the laptops that go to students because of bulk ordering. You know, we're just ordering a lot, we get to have a lot. How we are decided to articulate our MSI partnership, and it went in a bunch of different directions. And I honestly, I'm going to give a mad shout out to my friend Bennett here, who really worked very closely with our partnership team and MSI in kind of articulating really what would be the best move for us. But the big thing that we wanted to do in his direction was we didn't want to just take complementary PCs because they're going to constantly need to be updated. And by doing that, it sort of ends the relationship. And in 3 years later, 5 years later, when we really need to refresh and update our PCs, we're back to the drawing board and either trying to find a new partner, which has to reset everything Full Sail wide, or we're paying for them now at that point. And we're not going to keep getting free PCs every 4 years for the exact same thing. So how we articulate it, which has actually worked out really well, is that every 3 years, we get 30 PCs from MSI. We pay for 15 at cost, and we get 15 for free. So we essentially get 30 PCs for the price of a discounted 15. That we just replaced our PCs from the last round of partnerships. Those PCs are still fine. So now we have 60 PCs to be able to utilize, obviously being strategic and making sure that they're all going to be on the same page. But by having that element of we are going to pay for something as well, that allows us to make sure that we're continuing to be mutually beneficial. Because when you establish a partnership for something as crucial as PCs, and then the partnership ends because it didn't go well or whatever that is, that sucks. Because finding those and doing that work and getting everything situated is not an easy task. So entering into a partnership should be I have long-term goals on 3-year terms, or however we want to preface this, or I'm going to renew every year, but always would want to have long-term goals. We did a lot of content for MSI as well. We did like an unboxing video that I'm gonna share in our Discord later tonight. It's years old, but it's like the sexiest unboxing video that the world has ever seen. And so really, really love that.
Those are the best though.
I know. It's like, I mean, it was our first one, I think. So like our video team just went all in. They were like, oh, there's smoke, there's close up. Oh, we're looking at the things. It's so, we got lady hands, we got man hands, we got all different types of people involved. It was a whole shebang. So that I think is a true definition of a partnership. They're getting a lot of great business for us. We're paying for the business. We're getting much less expensive PCs for them that are top quality that we want. Everybody's benefiting. No one is just paying to pay. Now let's move to the sponsorship category. So when we first built the fortress, the Full Sail decided to try to sell the naming rights to the fortress. I will say at the beginning, I did not agree with doing that. I thought that we are giving away, it's already called the fortress. It's not called like the Full Sail venue or whatever. So I felt like we were giving away our name in exchange for someone else's, and I didn't know if that value was there. However, after now 3 years almost in this partnership, I feel like it was successful. So I was wrong at the beginning. Everybody can be wrong once in their life, and that was my only time. So I'm clear and good now moving forward. So Orlando Health sponsorship with us is they pay us $150,000 a year for 3 years for the naming rights sponsor. Of that, $50,000 each year has to be used on scholarships for students. So that's where that goes, and the $100,000 per year comes in to Full Sail. In exchange for that, for any event where we have control of the branding or the space, so like an invitational that we'd host, all of our Armada events, Hall of Fame and Hall of Game, things like that, Orlando Health will always receive prominent positioning as a sponsor of the event. For events that we don't own, we're hosting somebody else's event and we don't have that ability, we ensure as part of the contract with the client that the name that's said by the casters is always the Orlando Health Fortress, and it is said, X amount of times, depending on what type of event it is, on broadcast, and it is used in all PR opportunities, and obviously their logo appears on stream and things like that. But a very simple exchange of terms, a very simple, like, you give us this is how we'll use it, and we'll give you this. The other thing that we were able to do is, because they're Orlando Health, and this came actually back to Danielle's point of networking within your campus. We have a psychologist on campus that works on UI testing, research and development, things of that nature. And he came to the table and helped us form another secondary partnership, or added value to the partnership of being able to use wearable technology to do data research on esports athletes, because they've only done it so far on traditional athletes, and to be able to have that data for esports athletes as well. We made it voluntary. A couple students signed up. It's really cool, and kind of allows that to continue and go forward. But that's the good difference between sponsorship is, here's the money, great, here's your name, and partnership is, we're in this together. What is the best way that we can kind of continue to benefit each other? It's not going to save you as much money, but it's going to provide you with a lot of more opportunity.
Thank you for sharing that, because I'm going to steal that sponsorship thing.
Yeah.
For my LTU Esports Space 2.0 that is going to happen once I retire. That's what I'm going to leave them with, because I think that's super smart. We have our campus, like our is Henry Ford healthcare system. So
Wait, like the Henry Ford?
yeah, everything's named after automobiles in Michigan. Don't get too excited. Bilski understands. It's really not. But the Lawrence brothers are part of the automotive industry, and that's why my school was created. So like, if you go into the history of Lawrence Tech, so anywho, they wanted me to play. Not they, our philanthropy department wanted me to play videos of Henry Ford commercials. And at that point, I was like, yeah, so what are we getting? Like, what am I getting from this? Not, and they're like, well, they're our partner. And I'm like, okay, so what, how does the program benefit from this other than like, you already have to take care of them if they're injured because they're student athletes. So what? And so we just didn't ever come up with anything. And our stream is not good enough to run those commercials.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's really it's interesting because I like being in the position that I am in, talking to schools all day, every day. I still, especially with the programs that are still exploring esports and still kind of installing programs on their campus, I still get a lot of questions with, well, how often are programs getting sponsors and partnerships, and like what are like how much money are they like getting in for those sponsorships and partnerships? And I'm like, ooh, well, like it's not like, and like I don't want to say like these admins are coming in with like the wrong intentions, but I always I always just try to be kind of real with them, and I'm like most of the time, like when these esports programs are set up, everybody's hiring the one full-time person. The one full-time person is usually a student that has likely just graduated from their own program that they played, at a school. That's kind of like the trend that I've been seeing lately, where these new coaches and directors have been students at other programs. So, like, their whole goal and mission with creating these new programs are to get these programs off the ground and running. They don't have grant writing experience. They don't know how to build a pitch deck. They don't know how to like pitch to somebody to get sponsorships and partnerships and things like that. I said, so these programs that are out there, like especially the new ones, they're not going down the avenues of sponsorships and partnerships because they don't have the time, the capacity, or the
Mhm.
know-how um accomplish these tasks. So I said, and that aside, they don't have any deliverables they don't have the Twitch numbers. They don't have the students in their programs yet to be like, hey, your name is going to be on this many jerseys because this is how many students that I have in the program right now. So it's been kind of interesting. Like, I think we're getting to the point now where I'm able to be like, yeah, there are programs out there who do have, maybe their local credit union as like a partner or a sponsor, and there's also programs that have the big box companies that they're pursuing. But these are the programs that have been around now for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, like at this point in time. So it's still kind of difficult to have these new programs that are literally in like the building stages of, I don't know how to build an arena, but also how much are people getting in sponsorships and partnerships? Because I'm like, you are not there yet. So, like, it's
I think it's
there,
so frustrating.
but like you gotta kind of set your expectations, and that's been kind of a hard one to still kind of set for the newer they're not even
Well,
new programs. They haven't even got to be new yet because they don't exist.
if you look at their like job descriptions, and I still get frustrated, they're still expected to do all that and run the program and be there every night. And it's
And
like,
recruit.
okay, this is
Yeah,
more
and
than
recruit.
40 hours. This is more than 60 hours a week that you want me to do. So that's why I think the definition between director, assistant director, head coach, coordinator, um, is really going to be important in the future.
I've been
I also think it's really important.
very hard to delineate that in my current role.
Mm-hmm.
Is to and this coordinator role I over the past year has been I think this coordinator role is something that I've seen more often becoming the more popular choice for new programs to like start out with. They're not going with the head coach title anymore. They're not going with like the director role anymore. They're starting out as like an esports coordinator role. Um and I don't know, like, it it makes I think it makes sense in the like and like that is what that person is doing. Like the person that they're hiring is coordinating to make sure that the students are scheduled for practices, they're scheduled for their matches, they're registered for tournaments, they're there in the facility and like they're competing when they need to be. So like I think like the title is now fitting most of the job duties and responsibilities that the person is doing, but it's leaving out the other components that like the other like super critical things that these roles are supposed to be doing: the recruiting, the sponsorships, the partnerships, the make sure that you're broadcasting, make sure that they're doing well in classes, make sure that they're a well-rounded human and individual and future person, right? Um, so I think that I've been trying every school call that I have when I'm like, this is what you need to be like a healthy program. I'm like, one person one person can get the program off the ground and running year one. Don't have them start out a program with more than one or two competitive teams. One person can handle one or two competitive teams and be fine if they don't have previous experience running a program. Year 2 or 3, please add another staff member, whether it's a GA, whether it's a part-time, just add, please, year 2 or 3, add more support staff so this other full-time person can then start to focus on more intentional recruitment efforts, more intentional sponsorship, more like future 5-year planned things down the road for the program. So I've been trying to be a lot more intentional with like, this is how you build a healthy program moving forward.
AJ, you're doing great work because, first of all, I should have talked to you 3 years ago. Jackie tried to warn me, but of course, I'm a stubborn person and I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do this, which I have. But where I screwed up is what Sari said several streams ago. If you do it, then you prove to them that you don't need help. So I
Yes.
over and above. One of the things I keep intently saying is that I can take your program into triple digits, but I will not go beyond 50 with just me as a full time employee. And they look at me and I was like, sorry, that's my bottom line. There's nothing else I will say to that, and I'm not moving on. To kind of say about the esports coordinator thing, I guess I'll say it on stream, is that I think, for instance, the institution that I'm at, the word director denotes that you have a master's degree. Bless you, Jackie. And they don't want to go around. If I don't have one, then and this is not necessarily, I've gotten multiple responses to this. So whether it's true, whether it's the runaround, I don't know. But I'm wondering if it's like that at other institutions. That's why they're calling it esports coordinator. Because one of the things, even hiring and people that interviewed for my position at this point, I was told some people were applying without even having bachelor's degrees, and some people were applying without having an associate's degree. And how can my administration said, if our end product is academia, how can we sell academia to, or how can we have a person being a mentor for those students if they've never experienced college education themselves? So I'm saying all that because I'm wondering if they're still having trouble finding formally educated people to lead some of these roles. And that's why they turn around and call it esports coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not all of us. There's a far and few between of us. We'll say I'll give 29 and older. That have experienced a lot of life. Uh, Not that you haven't at 28, but you still got a few years. So I'm wondering if that's kind of like part of it. It's like you're meant to do all of these things. How can you do all these
Yeah.
things? Because
I also like like you just said, the if you're still under 28, I feel like that was when I was in my 20s, like 23 to 30. I liked to have fun. I 80 and I went on a couple vacations. We partied with our friends. We just hung out with friends. We enjoyed life. And it's because we knew that we'd have to buckle down at some point and start a family that we wanted and get serious with our jobs. But if students are coming right out of college and getting these positions and they're expected to do all of these things, they're working 60 plus hours a week. Where's that work life balance? I know we've talked about that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not really enjoying life. They're getting burned out. And that's why we're still losing people.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
absolutely. I think I
I
started Park when I was 28. Did I start at Park? I think I started at Park when I was 28, I believe, 27, 28. Who knows? It was a COVID ago. Time means nothing. Oh, when it was pre-COVID, time means nothing. But yeah, I this maybe divulged a little bit past the prompt, but I think it still kind of rings true because it's this weird balancing act where I think there's still budgets that are suffering kind of in a post-COVID world where budgets were cut because of COVID and they haven't recovered yet. We're also getting to the point where the higher education cliff is here and or like going to be here really soon. So institutions are even more worried and concerned about budgets and cutting back. So the the esports budgets that people have been cut are likely not going to get those budget cuts back from COVID, and now you're looking at a world in which the higher education cliff is coming, so more students are not. There's just going to be less there's just going to be less people that are in that age group and category that are going to be going into higher
qualified.
education. Yeah, just like less people available in the pool to go into higher education. So there's this huge push and pull for all of these programs to go out and find your own funding and find your own grants and find your own sponsorships and partnerships. So I do think that it's really difficult to have this added pressure from your admins while you also have to make sure that your students show up to play your games and make sure people are showing up to practice and make sure that your students are still excelling in the classroom and going to class and eating well and maintaining a healthy work life balance,
Thriving.
class balance themselves. So I think it's still like it's an added weight on the shoulder of programs where programs are still most programs I think are still like one man, one woman, one person shows at this point in time. um but I hope that we're here. I think we've always been here, but hopefully uh, we can be a resource for anybody. I think one thing that we can glean from today is that um, there's folks within this Discord or this Twitch, whatever this is. There's folks here that you guys are more than welcome to reach out to if you need help with grants, if you need some guidance for partnerships and sponsorships as well. Join the Discord as well. Um,
Jackie
to
will help you.
yeah, I think yeah, I kind of we're all in this together type of. Oh God, now I've got. Thank you, High School Musical. Um, we're
Mm-hmm.
all in this together type of thing. So,
I never watched it.
join the Discord server if you would like some extra help or guidance. I think we're definitely all here for each other, and I hope that there was some good websites that were here. There was some knowledge that was dropped. we definitely want to keep doing better and keep imparting more wisdom, and kind of, again, we want to move past kind of the 101 and give you guys actually some actionable items and give you some real food for thought and things to chew on and marinate on.
I still, it's still like very like high level. Like I think it's like 102 information, a little bit next level. But there's just so much to do. So I feel like if people need to reach out and chat, that's what our Discord is for. Continue the conversation in Discord. We have a forums on there, so you can ask questions about that. I think that's where we're always happy to help and set up stuff.
I like that it's
Yeah, we're all here to.
102.
I like that too. We're all here to support each other. So there's a lot of things that others have experience with that I don't, and a lot of things that I have experience with that others don't. It's a partnership. We exchange information and we all benefit. So let's all be partners. And you could learn about grants from Jackie like I did. I've been Googling up a storm about grants in Florida. I don't know of any right now, but I'm learning a lot of things. You could learn about grants from Jackie, and also maybe we could learn something from you, like how I learned about amazingly student-run programs from Jorge, as we talked about on our last stream. There's so much you can do.
Jorge also knows about grants.
Mhm.
Fun facts, guys. He knows
Yep.
a lot about grants. We talked in depth. So if anyone knows about the student side of grants, also if you're afraid to talk to Jackie, I don't know anyone who is. That's crazy.
I don't know.
Jorge
I come
can
off
help
kind of
you.
mean sometimes.
Yeah, you're real. You're real. That cancer is a cancerin.
Hey, what is our next show going to be like?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
Let's flip to the schedule
AJ?
here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
so...
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So our next scheduled stream is going to be November 2nd. It's going to be it's not necessarily on our regularly scheduled Tuesday. We're skipping because our regularly scheduled next thing would be Halloween, and we suspect that you guys might have plans. I do, so I won't be available.
I don't. I'm 38.
I don't have
I'm
any
coming-
fun
I'm
plans. Don't worry,
doing
they're
homework.
not fun. So November 2nd is going to be a big. It's our coffee house chat. So we're gonna bring in some friends from the coffee house to join us.
We have
So that's
some
going to be
all-stars,
on
guys.
Thursday. Yeah, so
All-stars.
you'll have to tune in, see who's going to join us for that. So that's going to be on November 2nd. It's going to be the Thursday after Halloween, so a little bit off of our normally scheduled fun stuff. Awesome. So, everybody, are we at a coffee? This is actually coffee. I was drinking coffee until 5 o'clock today.
Just so you know, I've been out of coffee the whole stream. This is a poor choice on my part.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on November 2nd. Happy Halloween, because we won't see you until then. Happy Halloween,
Let's see those
everybody.
Halloween costumes.
Yes.
I want to see
Yeah,
them.
let's
Drop
see
them
them.
in Discord. Adios, everybody.
And